You know what I don't like right now? Like I'm looking at these show notes, and this is the only thing that's bothering me, bro. And just to be honest, the main topic has Palworld versus Pokemon. Why is Pokemon considered a word, but Palworld is, it's got the little red lines underneath that it's misspelled. That's wrong. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, Palworld hasn't been around for nearly 30 years,
But
so
it's made just as much of an impact on this world, in my opinion.
welcome to the Astronaut Arcade Podcast, where your space hosts, Andromeda, Cowboy, Ranger, and N8iV Raider, share stories, tips, and the latest information on anything video game related. Today, we're going to be hitting a hot topic button that has kind of died down. We're a little late on this one, but we're going to be talking about Palworld versus Pokemon. Now, without further ado, let's begin the countdown to launch. So, here we are. We are back.
Back again.
Hi.
For everybody out there, we do have a new face in here. We'll talk a lot about him at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, this is N8iV Raider. He's a good buddy. He co-hosts with me on a different podcast, and he is an experienced podcaster, and he has graciously agreed to step in and help us out.
Experienced podcaster, that's kind of a stretch, man. I don't know about all that. You're going to make me sound professional, and it's definitely not going to be what you get.
Well, more experienced podcaster. We'll just put it there.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, how's everyone been doing this week or in this month, or what's going on?
Hey, it's been we posted in the chats for some of y'all. I had some health issues going on, and life just got in the way for a little bit. So, the past couple months been working on getting back to the swing of things, getting everything back in order, getting stuff taken care of, and trying to feel better. That's get everything back on track so we can get back to this.
Yeah. You do sound a lot better than the last time I heard your voice. Like I think the last time I talked to you, your voice was all hoarse and like you sounded like you could barely move your fingers.
Yeah, surgery went great. I got a lot of the feeling back to my hand. I can use my arm again pretty well. Actually played a little basketball. Not 100% yet, but I think I'll get there. Actually just signed up for a new gym today. Start getting support more weight with my arm, and it's going good. It's been a lot, and I'm happy to say it's been great progress. So kudos to that surgeon. He did a great job. And that's all we can do from there, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, N8iV? What you been up to?
What have I been up to? Lots of Palworld. Just a little foreshadow, lots of Palworld and lots of podcasting. So I just did I do Blueberry Lounge, I do Palworld podcast, the main things, and then here as well with you guys starting out here just to help kind of fill in where I can. But I also did Potato Thumbs podcast recently, and it was a absolute blast, man. We had so much fun. It's always great to be with those guys, and yeah, we just did that on Thursday. So Thursday we did that. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Been crazy at work. Last night I was solo at the job because one of my employees he got activated for National Guard because of the fires here in California, and then one of the guys, he ended up calling in sick. He forewarned me about it because his wife was dealing with some issues. I was like, okay, man, cool, do your thing. So it was just gonna be me and one other person. And I don't have to necessarily be on the shift, but I don't want to leave this one person alone on shift, you know? So I ended up, coming in last night and working, and right before my alarm went off, because I was anticipating having to come in, it was like, oh yeah, I woke up with a migraine. I'm not gonna be able to come in. I'm gonna wait for the meds to kick in. I'll be in at midnight. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, no, handle your business, you know. And then around like 10:30 or something like that, I got a call from the same employee, and they're like hyperventilating. Like I was like worried, you know. I was like, do I need to call an ambulance? Is your husband there? Like, are you okay? You know, kind of thing. And like, oh no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So I rocked the whole shift solo, which I kind of like to, because I don't have to talk to nobody, you know, and I could just focus on the things I have to do. Um, yeah, it's just been a whirlwind with this new job, that job, and the one I'm taking over as well for the next level of management. But yeah, it's been crazy, man, and I am hoping and praying that somebody shows up to work tonight, because if not, I have to go in tonight, and I plan on not going in tonight because I have the Raider game at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I am trying to make sure that I'm fully rested and ready for this win against the Ravens.
Hey man, if you got to go in, you just got to channel your inner teenager or your inner combat vet, and you just got to rock it 24 hours, 48 hours, no sleep.
Bro, I've done that too long. I'm not trying to do that no more, man. I'm drinking Happy Dad. I'm supposed to be Happy Dad right now, and I got that in the back of my mind. Like, damn, I might have to go in tonight. I'm hoping and I'm praying that I don't have to. And I got BBL tonight as well. So if I do have to go in tonight, I might be swerving on the road. You know,
Hey, that's what it is. I feel that entirely, man. When I worked offshore, it was we'd work 19s, and you just got off, you got out the water, and you go up, you bunk in, you go to sleep, and you're sitting there for like maybe 30 minutes trying to fall asleep. You finally fall asleep. Next thing you know, they're hollering, "Everybody up, back on deck."
damn.
Like, so yeah, but man, it was a blast. Don't get me wrong. I loved the work. I loved working offshore. I loved diving, but can't do that and be a single dad. It just don't work.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah. As for me, I've just been working a lot. I've squeezed my podcasts in, and I work. That's about it. I sometimes manage to squeeze some games in. Did have and Native, I forgot to tell you, I did have. So I told you about my kid's birthday. His birthday was this past weekend.
Yeah.
But it was also my 2-year anniversary this week, and I totally forgot about it.
Oh no.
Like the whole I didn't remember until today, like a week and 2 days late. But it's fine. It's fine. My girlfriend forgot too. So I mentioned it today, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I know I forgot. I dropped the ball." And she was like, "That's fine. We're busy in September, especially the beginning of September. Don't worry about it."
Bro, that was a prime opportunity for you to like sit there and like before she remembered it, you go get a gift real quick, and you come back and be like, I think you might have forgot, honey, but happy anniversary. You know what I'm saying? Score the points right there.
Well,
Just gaslight the whole situation.
that's
It's strategy.
yeah, that's gaslighting in its purest form. Pouring some gasoline and lighting it on fire. Gaslight. But
I still don't understand that term, like the gaslight thing. I got to look up definitions, because I hear it a lot, especially recently with the last like maybe couple of years. I still don't understand exactly what that means.
from my understanding of it, it's basically like putting your failures on somebody else in a subtle way. So it's like what you did is your fault, is that person's fault. But you do it in a subtle way of like, so like you tell your wife, you're going to do the laundry because she's gone for a week. She comes back with piles and piles of laundry, and you say, "Well, I would have done the laundry, but you forgot to go buy pods, so I couldn't do it." And you
Okay.
also didn't remind me to go buy pods. Stuff like that. It's like subtly making
Damn.
your faults the other person's.
I feel like I've been gaslighting my whole life, bro. Now that I understand the concept. Interesting. That's a bad thing. I should stop.
Yeah. But she did say, it's not a big deal. And she did tell me very early on, that she doesn't really do the whole like gifts anniversary thing. Like it's nice to remember and like go have dinner, like just the two of us, like have a date night. But she doesn't really want to do the whole gifts thing, especially because we don't really have a whole lot of financial support to be able to go buy gifts and have dinner and just have like a full fancy night out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future I can change that, once I get some good capital behind me. But until then, it's going to be, oh, hey, happy anniversary. And then we pass our ways and keep going about our day.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Me and the wife are like similar in that concept. Like, oh, yeah, like, let's just like focus on this or focus on bills or like there's more important things than buying us gifts. And then like I can't help it though, like because I'll be like, bro, I'll sit there and I'll buy stuff that I know I can't like afford. I'm not talking about like fancy jewelry. I'm just talking about like shoes, makeup, something like that, And like she sits there and like, don't listen to that song. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like there's a song by Flo Rida.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Flo Rida. Called Zillionaire, and it's just basically talking about like spending money on your girl, And I'll listen to that, and I'll be like, I'll go into the store and be like, let's go, money that I don't have. It's dumb. And she's like, don't listen to that song. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, me and my girlfriend will have been together 2 months or 2 years and 1 month. Sorry, not 2 months. We've been together a lot longer than that. 2 years and 1 month from now. Today, actually. October 14th.
Well, while you're thinking about it, go ahead and put that calendar reminder on your phone.
We actually have it hanging above our bed.
There you go.
We have
There you
one of
go.
those little
Yeah.
star chart. It hangs right above our bed, so I never have to worry about forgetting my anniversary with her because I just got to look up. It's right there.
So even if you wake
That's
up,
perfect.
yeah, even if you wake up and you're a zombie, you go to the bathroom, take your morning leak, you come back. Oh yeah.
I think I'd probably remember it before she would, though. To be honest with you, she spaces out a lot.
Yeah.
I love her, but yeah.
Yeah, me and my wife, we hit our 17-year anniversary this past August.
I don't think I ever
Been a
asked.
long time.
Was that 17 years married or 17 years together?
17 years married. It would be 21 together, I think.
Ooh.
2000 or yeah, something like 2004.
That long
No,
with me.
It was 20 years. 20 years.
I would definitely be murdered before then.
20 years together, 17 married.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed. I don't know how she puts up with me, but I love her.
I don't know. I just went this morning and just bought a truck randomly and like.
Yeah, that's not helpful for trying to stay unmurdered.
Like, hey, babe, we didn't run to the ATM. She's like, okay. She's like, does it run? No, but it will.
You're big into cars, huh? Like projects and like
Oh,
getting things
yeah.
off the ground. Because me and you, we haven't had much time to really catch up and get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was a mechanic. I've been a mechanic off and on for 14 years. I went to school for classic car restoration, high performance engineering. I also went to school for music. We talked about that on one of these episodes, which I don't have to sing anymore because the quota wasn't met. So thank God for that, because they were trying to get me to do opera on this show live, and that wasn't going to happen.
I got an idea for a guest on Blueberry Lounge soon.
Yes, sir.
Certain segment.
So yeah, I did that, and then I used to manage a mechanic shop for a while before COVID hit, and we got shut down. And then I went to dive school and became a commercial diver, and worked offshore. And then my daughter was born. Said, "No, I got to come back in and take care of her because I have custody of her." And I couldn't imagine being away from her for a day, let alone a week at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
don't
love
know-
cars.
Native, I don't know if you know this or not, but Cowboy saying him going back to school. This man has been to a lot of school. Like he's almost got his bachelor's. Like he said, he's just finishing that, so that means he has his associates. He's been to diving school. He went to mechanic school. He went to school for music. This man's done a lot of school. He's proficient in a lot
Jack
of
of all
things.
trades, it sounds like.
And the one thing I got mad about, so I am going for my bachelor's on for my BBA, business bachelor's, business administration, and I started at this school here locally just to get some of my classes done. And when I did my transfer stuff from my old school, where I got my where I went for vocal performance, I found that none of those credits transfer. So
Damn.
going for this bachelor's degree, I basically have to start all over, except for my, math and history classes. I only have 4 classes out of my entire 2 years I did for music that actually transfer. I was so upset with that.
Yeah.
I'd be mad too, man. I'd be mad. I sit there and so I'm supposed to start school on the 25th. Like I said, I'm gonna probably cancel that, and push it off a little bit, or maybe just cancel in general. I don't know, man. Like I don't even know if I really want to go back to school. But it was for computer science because I got into a little bit of the programming and I enjoyed it and it's fun, and I like the mental challenge of it and creating the creative side of it. But like I realized that honestly a degree in that field is not really necessary. Like you got to have just a portfolio, start learning and then build things, And so I'm like looking at that route and it's like maybe I'll just do that, But yeah, my degree transfer because I got an associate's in general studies, and that was through American Military University, which is probably similar to maybe I don't know, University of Phoenix or something like that. I know a lot of people troll on that, so probably something similar to that. But there was I got my stuff transferred and it was like, okay, cool. Like I got all this done and it was in general studies. So that should take care of all of my core work for my bachelor's program with Oregon State University, which is the one that I'm supposed to be going to soon. And it did take care of some of it, but even as a full-time student, it's going to be 4 years. I'm just like, what? This doesn't add up. Hold on. This doesn't make no sense. I already did 2 years. Like a bachelor's is 4. That should I mean, math, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the same boat I'm in. And it sucks. I was thinking when I went in, I'm like, okay, I got 2 years for my bachelor's, 3 years for law school. 5 years I'll be done. No, got to do the full 7. I'm like, oh my. But
man,
hey, it'll be worth it.
Worth it though.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, 100.
I always wanted to be a lawyer when I was in high school. That was what I wanted to do, and I let life get to me, and I slacked off, and I kind of just got myself into the bad spots of, hey, I can't get into a good school anymore, and so I went to junior college, and the only reason I actually picked music was because I got a scholarship for it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh well, y'all are gonna give me a scholarship, I'll do that instead. And I liked it. I performed opera for a little while, and I didn't enjoy it the way I should have, so left that, went to work as a mechanic for a while, went to Ohio Technical College, went there for classic car restoration, and studied that in high performance engineering, and then came back, worked as a mechanic, and spent most of my life doing that. And it's just I'm at a good place now. I get to work from home, which is awesome. I just sit here at this desk and talk to people on the phone and go to school online when I'm done. And hey, easy life.
You should be playing Palworld while you're talking to people. I'm just saying.
I have.
More foreshadowing.
Boss, if you're listening, I have never done that. But
never,
not once
ever.
But I do weird stuff. Even like when we were recording the episode about Stardew Valley, while we were recording the episode, I downloaded the game and started playing Stardew Valley while we were recording the episode because I never played it before, so I wanted to have something to contribute.
Yeah, I get that.
He did get a little lost in the sauce in that episode. He was like listening to us talk in the background, and I think he kind of you didn't specifically say this, Cowboy, but I'm pretty sure that he eventually hit a point where he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening to a podcast," and then he would remember, "Oh wait, no, I'm in this podcast. I need to say something."
That really, honestly, is where it got to. Like they were talking, and they said my name one time, and I remember I was like completely zoned out in this game. And then I hear Andromeda repeat my name, and I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, I'm here.
Hell yeah.
But what about gaming, guys? What's new in gaming for you guys? I know Native, you had a new game you were playing today.
Yeah. Yeah. Last 2 days now. So, Space Marines too. A lot of people from my other communities like been talking about it. You know, it's everywhere. It's a big game, and usually I don't jump on the hype train like that. You know, like for example, Hill Dev has still never played that, and some of the other ones that were like big and popular at the moment. But I was like looking at it, and I watched my buddy Toll the Bell. He's from Blueberry Lounge, as well as a lot of the like all the Owl Sector Alliance discords, and he's also a host for the Space Mafia um Discord, and what is the name? Dudes Playing Stuff. That's the name of their podcast, which is another generic gaming podcast. I could see you guys doing a great collab with them because you guys are both generic. It's not singled out on a certain game. Anyways, so he was playing it, he was streaming it, and I was watching the Discord, and I was talking to him about it while I was playing Black Ops 6, and I was like, this is different. This is not usually my MO. You know, I don't really care for third person type shooters. Never really cared for Gears of War. But I was like, you know what? Let me step outside of my bounds a little bit and really give it a solid push, you know, a solid try. In the first mission I jumped in, I was like, okay, it's really cool story, really awesome, you know, like the voice acting is honestly amazing. The story is pretty lore rich, and you can even dive deeper into it. It's Warhammer, right? Which I've heard of. I never got into Warhammer, but like I know it's been around forever, you know, just like D&D. So I've been playing the last couple of days, and honestly I'm enjoying it, man. I'm just going through the motions and playing and enjoying something outside of my element, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. What about you, Cowboy? Anything new in gaming for you?
No, not really. Haven't been doing too much gaming.
Yeah. Have you been like squeezing in anything small, or is it just like not at all, like no time?
The only thing, Pokemon Go.
I feel that.
I've been playing that quite a bit lately. You know, I've been exercising a lot to try to get in, you know, recover from my surgery, and so using those extra steps and trying to make it a little more fun than just boring walking.
You should hit up Native. I know Native plays. Maybe y'all can be friends.
We could try, but we're gonna have to battle first. Your Charizard versus my Jet. Let's see what happens.
Did you just learn that word or something? Because you've been saying it a lot, and you're so excited about this foreshadowing.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know, man. It's kind of a fun word. It's kind of dark and mysterious, but it's also forward, I guess, like a shadow that's in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is good though. You are definitely pushing us towards the topic, which is a good idea. We're very slowly making our way there right now. As far as me, gaming wise, I have one game that I'm excited to really get back into. So I've been doing a lot of Palworld, but there's a game called Satisfactory that just came out of early access earlier this month, possibly even this week. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked, but it just came out of early access, and I'm really excited to get my hands in on the full game because they had update 9, and they've been very good about adding stuff with every update that they've had. And they went from update 9 to full release 1.0. So I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff in there because I didn't play update 9. So I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff in there that I've never seen before, a bunch of new stuff. From brief glimpses on YouTube, I've seen that they added a lot of new machines, some new mechanics, some new textures and stuff. And I think they might have updated the map too. So that'd be cool, being able to play on a brand new map. But that's me.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of footage while you're talking about it because I haven't really checked it out. I know we had talked about this before with this. Is it kind of similar? Ooh, it looks like it runs really smooth, to be honest. Like the UI wise, is this similar to, because a lot of people's been playing No Man's Sky?
Yeah,
again.
it's very similar to that.
Okay,
it's
gotcha,
a automation.
So it was kind of giving me that vibe.
Automation type game is what I've heard people describe it as. So basically, what you want to do is you want to automate every process. So like when you first touch down, you got to do like fossil fuels. So you have to go out and you have to cut down trees, convert your trees into a fuel source, and burn all that up in a biofuel generator. And that's how you create your electricity to make your factory start going. And over time, you get renewable energy that just creates itself. And you get like coal, and then you get from coal, you get nuclear energy. Like it goes up in energy scale, but
Right.
it's an automation type. So you build your factories to strip mine this planet and make these materials. So I'm gonna have to have it. We're gonna have to have an episode on that. It's a good game.
Yeah, it looks actually really, really smooth and clean. At least the streamer or the YouTube video I'm watching right now, and I just saw him put leaves into a toilet. Like you can interact with a toilet.
That's a new feature.
That's always fun. You know.
Well,
Nice.
how about you guys? What do you guys think we move into a little bit of housekeeping, and then we can get into our main topic?
Yes, sir.
Cowboy, does that sound good with you? Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir. I am. I'm sorry. I keep muting because I'm trying not to sneeze on the recording. So
No, you're fine. I'm checking with my superior, make sure it's okay. You know, we gotta go through the chain of command here.
I don't know about that.
Oh
But
yeah.
she's not here right now.
Well, as I'm sure you guys have noticed, Andromeda is currently not here. She has had a very rough go of it in her personal life. She did put out in the Discord a little bit of an explanation for that. So we're not going to dive too much into it for her privacy sake. But she is for temporarily going to be not with us. That's what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned N8iV kind of stepping in to help us out. Is he's kind of helping pick up some of that third host energy that we really like here. And yeah, so she's gonna be gone for a while. But Andrew, if you're listening to this, we love you. We're thinking about you. We have not filled your seat. N8iV Raider has pulled his own seat up to the table.
We love you.
Yeah, we are fully expecting you to come back.
Just keeping it. I'm just keeping it warm.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keeping it warm for you.
We are fully anticipating a comeback, and we are awaiting your return.
Yeah, and since she's not here, now we got to move that who we're gonna pick on over to Ranger. So just expect some light fun and general
Hang on,
tomfoolery directed towards Ranger.
I was under the impression we were going to pick on the new guy.
No. See,
that's what I
No.
expected.
Well,
no, we got to go to Ranger next. Sorry, it's the order of operations here. New guy has to earn.
Or get
He has
planted.
to earn the picking on.
I'm gonna have a lot of silent moments. I don't do well with pressure.
Oh, then I'll put on all the pressure. We got this. Nothing more fun than somebody sweating. But Andrew, we all talked about it before. We took this. I don't want to call it a break. We're gonna just
Time skip.
We're just gonna call it a time skip at this point. We all leveled up, got some new moves. We're gonna come back bigger and badder than we left off, and we ain't gonna take an L. So we are happy to have N8iV here. We love their podcast over there with Palworld podcast. It's a great show, and that's how we all met to begin with, was through the Palworld podcast. Well, I met Andromeda before that through the Palworld Discord, but she brought me into the Palworld podcast, and that's where it's been. Kind of our family grew from there. So we are happy to have him, and we can't wait for Andrew to get back. We do absolutely love having her on the show, and definitely need someone to pick on more regularly.
Yeah. Well, sad notes aside, we have entered the exit of our time skip, and we are here to bring you new and fascinating old topics that we have been intending to do for months now in Palworld versus Pokemon. This was a very hot debate when Palworld first came out, and honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I did not really understand like the contention that they had there.
What's funny? I think we've had this episode planned. We first all talked about this back in like April, I think. It's been a while, April or May, I believe, when we first brought this up, and we have actually had this episode decided that this was going to be episode number 10 from like the first day we started doing this podcast. And we're a little bit behind, we had our time skip and we had some leveling up to do. But at the same time, so did Palworld, so it gives us a little more to talk about.
This is true. But so first off, did either of you really understand the whole like contention and the fight that the Pokemon fans had with the Palworld?
I get it. I really do. I do understand it. I think Pokemon fans, you know, we grew up on Pokemon. All three of us were older. You know, we had Pokemon when Pokemon came out a long time ago. I mean, I remember when I was younger playing what is that Pokemon one where you take the pictures?
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap on Nintendo 64 back a long time ago, back in the 90s. That's been 30 years now. Jesus. But and Pokemon Coliseum, that was a great game. But as far as the contention, some of it seems like, hey, they took this Pokemon and turned it into this pal. Well, maybe, but at the same time, Pokemon kind of did the same thing. Pokemon are designed after other animals or other creatures that have been seen in anime shows dating back from the 80s. And it's nothing new. You can't copyright an idea. You can copyright a specific thing, you can trademark a specific thing, but the broader aspect of it, I mean, it's free reign. So to say, oh, well, Grisbolt looks like a giant Pikachu or a giant Raichu or whatever I think it was Pikachu that there was talking about, just like the color scheme. Okay. I mean, it's a lightning type and it's yellow. I mean, that's not a copyright issue. So that's just where I stood on it. Like I can see why they're saying stuff, but at the same time I don't agree that they have had the argument there.
I agree. Obviously, right? Because you can look through the time in games. Like, you guys remember back in the day, right? When we were young and Pokemon was huge. Before viral was a word, it was viral, right? Everybody's watching it. We're collecting cards, the TCG, and then literally a year after Pokemon was released, you had Digimon come out, and then everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, this is just like another Pokemon, but it was different. And what I think is the big contest in why that this is such a widespread thing, like, oh, Palworld's Pokemon, with guns and all that kind of stuff, is because I think that's more of a Western thing here in the States, right? Because if you look at a lot of different animations in Japan and creatures and Monster Hunter type things, they're very similar. Like the style animation, right? Is very similar to everything, right? That's just that style. And I think it's a style thing that we sit there and we see. And because Pokemon is so wildly successful throughout all these years, that's become the household brand of that style within the Western side, But if you were to go to Japan, like, that's kind of a norm, I think, for just animation styles and character designs and frames and whatnot. So I think that was also a big point of contention, is that it's just a different perspective from what was so popular here in the States, as opposed to perhaps Japan or, the Far East in general.
And I think just to feed off that, another big complaint that everybody had was, honestly, in my personal opinion, Palworld gave us exactly what us Pokemon fans wanted forever. Something we asked for, something we wanted to see in Pokemon games and never got. We got it. Yeah. So, that was Pokemon's loss. They've had plenty of time to make this open world, open map, Pokemon type game that got brought into a more main, what's the word for it? Main console type game, instead of staying in a small handheld game system, or with the Switch, they could have brought this forward to Xbox and PlayStation. Hey, we're going to make a Pokemon open world. We're going to have you, as a survival game. You are a Pokemon trainer. You're going in. We're going to make it a little more realistic in its aspect, like people have said for years, make it a little more challenging. And that's one thing, in my opinion, Pokemon has always lacked a challenge.
Yeah, I can agree to that. When I was a kid, Pokemon was a little bit more challenging because, like, your mental processing powers when you're that young aren't as good. So it's like remembering all of the type advantages and disadvantages, remembering, oh, this one has good stats, this one doesn't. All those things could make it more challenging. But also I think it made it more fun because you didn't go in going, oh, I know that this gym has this type, this gym has this type, this gym has this type. So I'm going to plan my team out accordingly as I'm going through this game. But when you're a kid, it's like you pick your favorites. Like, oh, I like the look of this one. That one looks really cool. And you just put them in your team and you go to the gym and you're like, I have nothing to fight this. I'm just going to struggle bus until I can break through. So I think that's part of it is that the Pokemon concept, as far as the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, when they're creating the games, never evolved with their player base. Like, I still think they do have younger players. Like, I've got younger cousins that they like Pokemon. They still play the games, and for them, it's still great. Like, it's still a good challenge because they still pick their favorites. So I think that with the original target audience still being in love with the game, the challenge has not gone up with the age, like the mental age and the mental acuity to be able to solve challenges and find these answers to issues, right? But
Yeah, I could see that, man. I like it. And that's the one thing that I kind of prefer to Palworld versus Pokemon is that age gap. Like us growing up with it, I my first Pokemon game that I played was on Game Boy. I think it was Red that I borrowed from a buddy at school or something like that. And it was so cool. It was so amazing. It was like so unique and fun and all that good stuff. But like I can't talk much after the first generation of Pokemon because I left it. I went on to do different things and probably Call of Duty or something like that. Halo, Ghost Recon back in the day. Like I kind of left Pokemon wayside. I did play the trading card game, and that was pretty fun. Like I would play with my dad and my little sister, and we'd go get booster packs, and it was super exciting, and like it was fun. There was a lot of stuff to it. But what I'm getting at is that I kind of left that wayside as a kid, and if I was to come back to it now, is it basically the same? Like is it still just the same kind of thing? Like you're saying, like has it grown with its initial audience that brought it so much fame and success? To where when I see Palworld, right? Palworld, it's not necessarily a kids game.
Yeah.
I see Pokemon as more of a kids game. Palworld's got a lot of little dark things to it, a little twisted, a little bit fun that'll get a chuckle out of an adult, that
Right.
maybe some kids won't understand as much, We get these innuendos and like one of the things that I can relate that to in the like cinema world is like watching Shrek as a kid and then watching it as an adult. And there was like so many different little things. I was like, I didn't even understand what that meant. I was like, oh, okay. There's these little innuendos that was like, I get it more now. You know what I mean? And that's, I think the difference. I think that the target audience is both different.
Right. Like with Shrek, like you said, they made it to a point, and that's one thing a lot of like Disney and Pixar movies are good at. They find a balance between their young audience and their adult audience. They put something in there for everybody to kind of, feel a part of. Whereas Pokemon, I feel like they went down the Yu-Gi-Oh path. As Yu-Gi-Oh evolved, in my opinion, it got more childish. It stuck with the kid audience. The original Yu-Gi-Oh, it was violent. Like,
really?
Yeah, you had one guy pull a gun out in the middle of an actual conversation. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh was aggressive. And, you know, then we get to all these other ones, and then, you know, dungeon dice, and then it, as my opinion goes, it just got more childish. And I think Pokemon did the same thing. As you watch it, you know, you had Brock in the old Pokemon that was kind of like what's the word for it? He always chasing women, always hitting on women, and
A
you know,
philanderer.
yeah, that'd be. And you know, as you go on, it seems like it got more childish. Same with the games; they just feel more childish. Even the Pokemon that we get, the newer Pokemon, they feel more simplistic, more childish than what we had. You know, they chose to, hey, we're gonna make a game for 5 to 10-year-olds, and we are never leaving that target audience. And that's why I said this Palworld is exactly what we wanted Pokemon to evolve into.
That's a good play on words there. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that was a really good play on words.
It wasn't, but I'll take the credit.
But you know, and what you said about the new Pokemon, you know, the art, right, the models, that brings up, you know, one of the big hot button topics was that people were saying that Palworld straight up stole the models from Pokemon. Like, I don't see that. I see that, yeah, they look similar, but also when you have nearly 1,500 models of stuff that you've generated to look like real world creatures and like things, there's going to be crossover. Like, you know, one of the big ones was Anubis versus
Lucario, I think.
yeah, Lucario. Like that Anubis was basically just a new reskin of Lucario, but like Anubis looks like a dog that is equivalated to Egyptian times.
Right, which is what Lucario was based after. They're both based after the same thing, you know, and they're both stealing the idea technically from, you know, Egyptian religion. So it's not really a, well, we had it first kind of thing, because no, you didn't. Egyptians had it 5,000 years ago. I don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
So, you know, I mean, I've talked about this before, but I do 3D modeling. I actually like to go into my Blender and make Palworld characters. I actually worked on a Anubis project that I was making an actual 3D model of Anubis. And, you know, one thing I've learned and picked up from doing this is that when you're especially like when you're making human models or certain models, your base model is 9 times out of 10 gonna be the same thing, and you just build on top of that. So you'll go in, because you don't want to sit there and you make a whole new base model each and every time, because that's going to take you 15-20 hours of your life to get all this shape in, get every detail in, when you could just make one base for everything you need to make. Like any guy character you want to make, you can make one male base and just change it. Make facial changes, muscular changes, height changes, scale changes. You can do that off of one base instead of, hey, I have 1,000 characters, so I'm going to make 1,000 bases. That don't make sense to me. So I can honestly say I really don't feel it's stolen in any way. It's the concept, the idea matched. You know, I don't think Grisbolt looks anything like Pikachu, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that he's yellow.
Which is
My
normal
vape's
to sit there and see for electricity, you know, like you see like, hey, don't go touch this power plant. It's got a big yellow sign on it that says don't touch it with a lightning bolt on it.
right.
Like it's
Yeah, giant yellow and black signs that have lightning bolts. Do not touch. Electrified, things like that. But like, and did you guys see the stretch that some of these people were making? Like, oh, this one pal steals ideas from 4 different Pokemon and puts them all into one. It's like, okay, then it's different. It's a completely different thing.
That's exactly right. You cannot patent, copyright, or trademark a concept, an idea. You can't, because you can't have a monopoly on something.
yeah.
You can't. So if you don't, you can say, oh, it cannot look exactly like my Pokemon, but that's the end of your rope there. That's all you have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If someone uses yours for inspiration, there is nothing illegal about that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not stealing. It's not anything. It's just inspiration. And like Native said earlier, you know, anime does this all the time. Any anime you watch, go on Crunchyroll or High Dive or whatever anime show channel you watch, you're gonna see similar animes. A lot of anime, like a lot of these isekai or dungeon animes, they steal stuff from D&D.
Yeah.
It's not really stealing, it's just using inspiration.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think one of the funniest comparisons that I saw, and because I mean it was right off the bat, Palworld launched a week later, comparisons to the frames, to the art style, to everything. I think one of the funniest ones that I saw was the Lichen Rock, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the name
Yeah.
of it. Lichen Rock and Dire Howl. I was like, bro, they're wolves. Like you can't copyright a wolf. Okay, that's a
you can
real
only
world
draw a
thing.
wolf so many ways.
Especially in a Japanese style animation. Like we got to remember that it's a certain animation, you know? Like it's like, come on, bro. That's a bit of a stretch. Chill, you know?
One of my favorites was the Jormuntide and Gyarados relation. I was like, it's a water serpent.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Gyarados has a giant, always open jaw. Jormuntide looks more
And-
dragon-esque. Like
and both of those come from Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Jormungandr.
So
And
yeah.
honestly, if you really want to talk that, because that sit there and reminded me, I was like, we could just say that. I mean, Leviathan in Final Fantasy VII was basically the same thing. You know, it's a water serpent.
Yep.
Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I understand. I think like there's especially with the Pokemon world, and I totally get it, and I love it, and I support it. Is that there's a pride in it, you know. There's a nostalgia that we have to protect our IP, basically, you know. Like, don't let these unknown companies like sit there and take our not spotlight, but our focus in gaming, you know. But to me, I think that's probably one of the best things that anybody could do. Like, if I would never played Palworld and I was just a pure Pokemon fan, and I saw Palworld come out, I would be happy because that's going to inspire them to, you know, get off their ass and like really like do something with the game. Let's like, it inspires innovation, you know, when they're met with a challenge or a challenger.
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Metal sharpens metal.
exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, you definitely can't be mad at something trying to advocate to a fan base you ignored.
Yeah. I think that was another big thing that people talked about a lot was what is this going to look like for Pokemon going forward? Like, what do you guys think? Like, what impact?
It is not going to hurt Pokemon at all.
No, but like
Pokemon is way too big.
Yeah, and,
I think
and
it
what
might
impact
inspire.
on? That's true. Yeah,
I think it might inspire some changes. Like, obviously, Palworld, it had a super successful launch, and it's obviously with something like that, Helldivers, all these other games that like just were like boom, huge, and then they die off. Okay, that's a normal thing. You can't expect to have 20 million players like active 24/7. You know, people are gonna run through the content, be done with the content, go off to the other games, right? But what I do think is like once the actual, because you got to think Palworld's still early game access, right? Or game preview, whatever you want to call it. Once the 1.0 comes out and like it's going to be announced, and I'm sure they're going to be on E3. Like they're doing really well with their development team, their marketing team to really like put stuff out there. They had Twitch drops recently. Like they got Steam trading cards that just came out this week. Like they're really focused in this game. Once that really comes back to life, I feel it's gonna really have Pokemon to sit there and boost their energy and be like, not that they're a competitor, because Pokemon is an absolute titan in the game, you know, but it's gonna make them sit there and be like, you know, Legend of Arceus, is that what it's called? Like, I've heard a lot about that, how that was supposed to be an open world Pokemon game. but I heard it failed on a lot of points. And I heard that from like Pokemon mains, i.e., my guy Sweaty Spooks, my co-host on Blueberry Lounge. He is a Pokemon guy, ride or die to the end of the day. But I heard it failed on a lot of points. So this might be that like really push to sit there and get Pokemon back into like, all right, let's reevaluate our strategy in game development. What are we going to build next? How can we compete with something that might be just a flea on our knee, but still it's something, like hopefully that innovation comes with the inspiration of having a competitor.
Right, and for Pokemon, I think their next step forward, their best step forward, would be to step back. Go back to Pokemon Red, open world Pokemon Red. Go back to the original. You have the map. You have everything already there. Just make it. Make an open world Pokemon Red, not with the new style bubble chibi looking graphics. Make an open world Pokemon Red. Have 3D characters run around the map with Pokemon in the grass. You can see them. You can interact with them. Do that. I mean, if Final Fantasy 12 back in 2005 could have open world monsters the way that it did almost 20 years ago, a big company like Pokemon, like Pocket, was it Pokemon? What they started out, Pocket Monsters, I think is what it started out as. They could really, really bring that around. They can make it. It can be made. And oh my God, would us old heads jump on that.
Bro, you got me excited. You just talking about that. Like, imagine them pulling out a renewed Pokemon Red. I'd be all, bro, I'll buy the deluxe edition for $150, $200.
Well, here's one better for you.
My family can eat ramen for the next 2 weeks. Like, I don't care. we're getting this, okay? You guys chill. Okay, this is important. Nostalgic to me.
And then even better, when you have the next one come out, follow the Call of Duty lineup here. When you have the next one come out, with say you go to Pokemon Silver or Pokemon Crystal, whatever you want to go second gen, Pokemon Crystal, have that exact same path. You have Pokemon Red there, its map won't go away. You hop on a boat, you can travel to Pokemon Crystal.
DLCs.
Yep, DLCs. Just keep adding it. You can do, it's going to be a full map. Elden Ring does it. You can have a full price DLC and people will pay it.
Ooh, think of like Warcraft, how it was, and then how World of Warcraft became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that with the Pokemon IP, just like you're kind of talking about, right?
Yeah.
Just keep.
Man, you got me excited now.
1-2 years.
I'm like switching sides all of a sudden. What the hell?
That's what I'm saying. That's what we want. And that's what Palworld in a way gave us. And that's why, we all switched to Palworld.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I think about, right? One of the big things that people in the Pokemon community have been asking for years and years and years, and they've been trying to slow roll it out, right? The Pokemon company has been slow rolling these features and testing them and trying to be like, oh yeah, we think we can do this, but it always comes up short because they either release the game before it's ready or they take shortcuts, this, that, the other. And I think you guys are both exactly right. Having Palworld in this leg and basically going, hey, we were severely underfunded compared to Nintendo and the Pokemon company. Yeah. Yet we were able to put out a game that has all these things that people wanted, and it works. Crafting items, open world. These are things, or playing with other people, seeing them in your world and being able to talk to them. These are things that we've all wanted for a long time from the Pokemon company. They attempted sort of half-heartedly with Arceus. The open world still had load screens between the maps. So it's not truly open world.
Really? I didn't know that. I never played.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So like the map was sectioned off into sections and you had to have a loading screen to go to each section. You couldn't
so like in comparison to like Palworld, like to go to another island, you'd have to like load?
Yes. So like to go, if you're going, say you started out in the starter island, right? You know that rise between the mountain to go into that next little area?
Yeah. From beginner's plateau to the other one?
Yeah. That would be a load screen.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
That'd be irritating.
And then then you would have that first island there that has the tower for Syndicate, and you'd have like the small settlement. That stuff would be one spot, and then to go to the next patch of green, the jungle up there, that would be a load screen. To try and go across the water to go to Mount Obsidian, that'd be a load screen. Every
wow.
new island segment would be a load screen.
That's crazy.
So,
Missed opportunity.
And with the new Nintendo Switch's supposed processing power, it should be able to handle an open world just like an Xbox or a PlayStation would. I don't see why they couldn't do it. If not this gen, then the next gen Nintendo Switch, they can up that, get the RAM up, get everything there where they need it. Say, hey, we're dropping this. It is a full open world experience Pokemon, exactly like you want it.
well,
Have at you.
and here's the thing: is they've already done that. They've already had an open world concept game that is legitimately open world with beautiful graphics, and they've done it twice. They've done it in what was it, Legend of Zelda,
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild, and then they did it with the next installment. I don't remember what the next installment was called.
Ocarina of Time. No, I'm just kidding. That's old. That's my shit.
That's the last one I played, so I couldn't
Me
tell
too,
you.
bro. Me too. 100%. Hell yeah.
But they've already done that on this current gen Switch. Is they've released games that are open world, beautiful design, beautiful graphics, with the loading capabilities of all the mobs. They've done it. The Nintendo company has done it. They just need to get the Pokemon company on board with it.
Yeah.
Right, and they could honestly go from, like I said, because they moved to like this chibi style character in Pokemon that I just don't like personally.
What are you talking about?
You know,
As far as like
the your actual person, it looks more like a chibi character than a 3D actual human.
so they did
It looks
that.
like a Wii person.
The Wii avatars back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's moreover what they look like to me. That's the best way I could describe their appearance.
Roblox or something like that.
Yeah, other than a character. Nintendo could so easily partner with someone like Square Enix, who has, for the past, going on 20 plus years, been the forefront of 3D graphic design. They had Final Fantasy X, that was one of the first true 3D graphic, sort of open world, but like you said earlier, has, you have to transition between screens. Didn't necessarily have a loading screen, but it had a transition. And that was back in 2000, and those graphics were phenomenal then. And then, like I said, you come up with Final Fantasy 12 in 2005 that their graphics was so far above and ahead of everybody else. Every game out at that time just didn't compare. And if they were to partner with someone like Square Enix, who has always been at the forefront of that, they could make a Pokemon Red that would never be touched by any other game ever again. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
Nothing would ever touch it.
And like you can even, for Pokemon, you can even make some character creation aspect to it. It doesn't have to be super heavy duty or like in depth. You can still keep it Pokemon themed, like your character is 10 years old. But you can add some like creation to it, like details on your face, right? So as of right now, the most recent Pokemon games, you have a selection of faces to choose from. But there's like 8 total, 4 boys, 4 girls. And like you could change that to be skin tone. Like you can have multiple skin tone shades. You can have a slider to make your facial appearances different. And that's stuff that's been going on for a long time. I think since back in Final Fantasy X days, like 20 years ago.
Not even something that would be difficult for them to do.
No,
Yeah.
it's been done already. Like the code is there, bro. Like look at pretty much every Korean MMO. Like the character creation, like customization is off the wall. Like you have like 6 different parts of your nose that you can change. It's like, wow. Okay,
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we've kind of settled and all agree that this is not going to hurt Pokemon unless they let it. They can let it hurt them by not moving the game into the future.
Yeah.
Or
they
can,
need to react.
Yeah. And I think that they really have the funding. There is no doubt they have the funding. They can make it happen.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
At this point, it is a choice. People have now seen with Palworld, they can have a game exactly how they want it. Exactly what they've been asking for the Pokemon Company for years. We can have it. We can have it all. People have now seen it. We know it exists. We know it's out there. If Pokemon, I think you and I kind of briefly talked about this on a past episode, Cowboy, but it's at this point, it's the Pokemon Company can react and do it well, or they can die out. It is. I don't know very many trends that have stayed around for 30 years and kept going.
There's no dying out with Pokemon, though. I don't think, man. As long as our generation is still alive, there's still gonna be Pokemon fans.
That's what I think too. I mean, I think Pokemon's one of those. It's like Call of Duty. It's not gonna die out because people are just gonna keep buying it. So I think that, and it hurts me to say this. It's really sad to say this. I think Pokemon has just fallen into the norm of repeating its cycles.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Mm-hmm. I think that is all it is. They have gotten comfortable. They have. I feel like they, as a company, have lost the love for their own game.
Yeah.
They have gotten into a money cycle, just like Call of Duty did. You know, when Call of Duty came out, it was phenomenal. It was beloved by everybody. I mean, Call of Duty was a big thing, you know, and then it just got into the pay to play and pay for this and pay for that and buy this and buy that. And we're going to give you the exact same game next year. We're just going to change a few weapons.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Pokemon's falling into that same cycle of, you know, let's just put a game out there and let it sell and we'll be fine. People are going to buy it.
I got a little side tangent in that, if that's cool with you guys, because that reminded me, and I just had this conversation last week, I think it was, talking about like how, you know, like certain games can be just successful year after year after year after year with a fan base, right? And even if they don't change much, i.e. Call of Duty, right? I've not liked Call of Duties for the past probably 4 years. I still buy them every time because I'm like hopeful and like wishing that this is gonna be the one. Get me back to that, you know, MW2, MW3 type feel and all that, or Black Ops 2. But one that I think does it probably better than anybody, that probably makes in a million, like a fortune on games, is Madden. Because Madden, they don't change much. Like they might add a feature here, add some new music. Bro, it's got to be so easy on the developers. And I'm not a developer.
God.
I don't know. But every year they put out a new game, full price, because you can get the new roster. Like they found such a niche that is just so perfect for just collecting money. Like that's a marvel.
That's true.
That's
very true. They're just, we're going to have the same game. We're going to add in the new names.
Exactly. And charge you the same price. Like,
and charge you the same price.
Other games, we'd be like, oh, you're going to add, it's the same game. Give us DLCs. Give us this. Give us that. It's like, nah, they're just like, yeah, we'll just wait because it's more like in facto of real life, you know? But I don't know why. It popped in my mind, man. I just had this conversation, I think, with my son like a week ago. So I wanted to bring it to the podcast because I thought it was just really interesting.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
And like Ranger said, I've mentioned this in a couple episodes already before. People, if you're listening, if you want these games to change, stop buying them. Because you know what? They're not going to change as long as you're paying for it. It ain't going to happen.
I was close.
They're not going to say, oh, this game made me 20 million. Let me go ahead and change the whole thing. You know, they're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. If you don't like the game, don't buy it. You play it for a week, you don't like it, request a refund.
Yeah.
Hey, let's see. You start requesting 100,000 refunds because 100,000 people hate this game. Hey, something's wrong. Hey, we need to change something, or we're gonna lose our business here. We can't lose this franchise. We need Call of Duty to survive, or we need Pokemon to survive, or we need Madden to survive. We've had this too long. We can't let it go. This has been our bread and butter. If you start doing that, it'll change. But if you keep buying it, it ain't gonna.
I almost bought Madden, the new Madden, the other day. I'm not gonna lie. It's the start of the season. I'm hyped about it, and I want to I'll watch a game, and I'm usually like drinking, obviously, when I'm watching the game, and then so inhibitions are down. And I'm like, whatever, you know, back to the whole like, hey, you guys can eat ramen. I need to buy the new Madden because I want to watch this game if I played it, if I coached it, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only got the new Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare 3, because it was free on Ultimate. That was it. That was the only reason I got it. If I had to pay for it, I will not buy Call of Duty ever again. I will not spend money on Call of Duty. It is a recycled game, and I can't stand it. If it's free, I'll play it, but I'm not paying for it. Not gonna happen.
No, the new one's pretty good, bro. Played the betas, both weekend betas, and they've
The
added.
Cold War?
No. The new one's Black Ops.
Oh,
6.
the new Black Ops 6. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's actually
No,
it's got me back on the hype train.
I can't stand the movement. No, that's the only thing. The movement's ridiculous. It's going back to, the insanities that was Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, and I hated both of those games so much. I don't want that crap in my soldier game. Kiss my ass. It ain't gonna happen. I don't want it.
I loved Infinite Warfare trash. I agree with you 100%. Advanced Warfare, I loved it. I'm a very I guess outcast for that too, because people be like, "Oh, what's your favorite Call of Duty?" So I'm like, Modern Warfare 2, Ghost, and Advanced Warfare," and they'd just be like, "What? Did you just say Advanced Warfare? How dare you?"
I will
Like,
100% agree. Infinite Warfare was trash, 100%. Advanced
Yeah.
Warfare wasn't horrible. I just personally hated the movement because it's not my thing,
Yeah.
But Infinite Warfare took Advanced Warfare and they ran way too far with it. It was ugly. I couldn't stand it. Ghost
Agree.
has always been one of my favorites. Modern Warfare 2, those have always been my favorites. And Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. I love Black Ops 2 zombies. It'll always be my number one zombies game of all time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I played that when I was in Afghanistan, and it was the most incredible time with my buddies. Like we just like so many memories were made from that one, and like figuring out the pack-a-punch, figuring out like Mustang Sally if you just kept your like initial pistol and pack-a-punch that, it was huge, and we're just like, no way, like memories. And I bringing it back to Palworld, I think that's where it's at, right? Is like the nostalgia, the memories that you created with this that just like really just like sink into you. Like me, I haven't played Pokemon for 20 years, something like that, right? But then with Cowboy sitting there bringing up like, what's if they remade it, in a 3D form with a company that like was like really about it, or a studio that was really about like bringing that nostalgia back, bringing that real like, I guess I don't know, feeling back that we had with Pokemon, watching the shows as a kid and bringing that back. Like I'd be so down for it, man. Like you guys wouldn't see me on Palworld, and I hate to say that, but you wouldn't see me on Palworld for probably a couple days. I'll make sure that there's plenty of salads. My pals are not going to suffer. They're gonna eat right. But I would be diving hard into that.
I 100% agree. If they made it, my schoolwork would suffer for it.
Yeah, I think Pokemon Company, I guess die out was probably the wrong way to say that earlier. I'm gonna change what I said to they will start having diminishing returns. People will still buy the game. They'll still make a lot of money. You won't die out. But the people who are older, who still want to play those games, but are starting to realize I can spend my money better over here, they will start migrating. So it's just going to be diminishing returns, and they will make less money. They'll still make a killing. They will never not make money, especially because they keep coming out with new plushies and T-shirts and button-up shirts and all kinds of merch and stuff. The Pokemon Company will make money, but the games, I think kind of what Cowboy said, the bread and butter, the games, they will start giving those diminishing returns and not hitting the master tier profits that we've seen up till now.
Yeah, I that's exactly right. It's Call of Duty, Pokemon, Madden, like you said, those have been for decades have been the top tier of gaming as far as income. I mean, Pokemon has so much out there. They have the trading cards. They have all the the plushies. They have online stuff you can do, like the online Pokemon trading card games. that you can do where you
Legos.
compete in tournaments and stuff like that. They have the Legos. There's so much you can do that they're not losing money. They're not gonna ever fall flat on their face. But like you said, they're not getting the potential of their returns. They're not seeing that realized potential that they could have. They're selling at point A when they could be selling at point B, and point B is a lot higher. And I think eventually, right now, it's an indie market. I'm a firm believer. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Right now, we are seeing an indie market. Indie games are really stepping up and taking over the market. You had Palworld, you had Hypercharge that came out this year, and both of them have been highly praised games. Versus the big games that come out this year. When you look at what's talked about more, you have indie games with 10 developers or 30 developers, or sometimes even less, that are making the profits, that are making the reviews and making the sales that these top tier 100 developer companies are making, and they're doing better.
Yeah.
Because those indie developers still have that passion for what they're doing. They still are doing something not just for money. Everybody does it for money, but they're doing it because they still love doing it. They're not just in a cycle. And I think for games like those, Call of Duty, Madden, Pokemon, they need to get out of that cycle and go back to the things that they loved about what they made. That's where I'm at with it.
So, kind of to round out our main topic here, Native, it's going to be hard for you to answer because you haven't played a Pokemon game in 20 years. But as of right now, today, September 14th, 2024, which game is currently winning and doing better? And not financially. I'm going to say that
okay,
clear that up.
okay.
Not
Yeah,
financially. Like as far as experience, playability, and prolonged playability. Because Pokemon games still have a finite amount of playability, being there is a end to that story.
Right.
So specifically with content of game, not money created.
It's honestly it's really kind of difficult to answer that question. I want to lean on the Palworld side, but then again, I haven't played a lot of the Pokemon games, the recent ones. Like the last one I played, I played Red, and then I tried Go, and I was just like, this is dumb. Like I can't even fight people. Like maybe you can, I don't know, but I was just like, I get the walking thing, and that's cool, but like, I don't know, man. Like it's really hard to answer that question because Pokemon will forever be in my heart. And I think I could probably, like, if you put up a blacked out picture of a Pokemon from the original, set, I could probably name every single one in that deck. I was about to say Pal deck, Pokédex, right? I could probably name every single one. But then I feel like I can do the same thing here in Palworld. And it's been reinvigorated in me with Palworld. Like, I don't want to say one is better than the other because I think if I didn't ever play Pokemon, I probably would have no interest in Palworld. If that makes sense. I really can't answer this question, man, because it's hard. But you said as of right now, at this point, on the 14th of September in 2024, me personally, Palworld, because I'm enjoying it more, and I have no reason to sit there and go buy a Pokemon game. I haven't for a long time, so.
Yeah. Cowboy, what say you?
I am going to have to agree. I have very outspokenly spoken my feelings towards what Pokemon has become, and it's not for me anymore. I'm not their target audience, and Palworld I enjoy. When Palworld came out, I did not stop playing it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was, to me, because I did sort of enjoy playing Arc. I kind of liked Arc, and then I loved Pokemon growing up. I played the first 3 generations of Pokemon. I had all 3. I was big on the trading cards. I had all of them. I actually, when I was a kid, did the Pokemon tournaments. We had a shop in our mall that did the Pokemon tournaments, did the Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. I did both of those. So I was big in Pokemon. And, you know, they lost me as a target audience. Whereas Palworld said, hey, this is the game you want. And, I took it, I ran with it, I loved it, and I'm glad they put out new content because I was tired of coming up with new ways to beat the game. I did enjoy it. It only took me 2 weeks to beat everything, catch everything. But that was fine because one of the cool aspects of Palworld that I thoroughly enjoyed is I could take that game and make it more challenging. I could find a way to make that game more challenging. So I did the chickpea challenge, where the only thing you can use is a chickpea the entire game, and I did.
Ooh.
And I have to get back on it, but I've already beaten the first 2 towers with nothing but a chickpea. So it's been fun. I I hope to keep going forward with that challenge until I complete it. Me and a lot of guys talked about it in the Palworld server a long time ago, and we fed off each other different ideas of how we wanted to see these things go, and different kinds of challenges, Nuzlocke challenges, and stuff like that. And that's it's always been fun. So I would say Palworld, 100% Palworld.
Yeah. Before I answer, Native Raider, what is that Pokemon that I just put in the
It's
chat?
easy, bro. Like you're gonna try me with these ones. It's Clefairy.
Okay, just checking.
Next, bring it on, bro. Bring any. I got that what was the initial, like 150, something like that?
151.
151. Mewtwo was 151, huh?
I think Mewtwo was 152
Oh, so
because he
it's
was
just Mew.
technically Mew is 151, and I think Mewtwo is
Okay.
152 technically.
Bro, I would not guess anything after that because I have no idea. But anything within that range, easy money.
As far as what I think who's doing it better right now, so I have played every Pokemon game except for Sun and Moon.
Real quick, I just wanted to clarify because Mewtwo is actually Pokemon number 150. Mew is 151, but Mewtwo actually came before Mew, which is weird. But I think they did it that way because of the Pokemon 2000 movie, because they couldn't find Mew. They used Mew's DNA to find Mewtwo, and then Mew appeared after Mewtwo. So I think they kind of just did it because that was the order it appeared. But
it was a great movie.
Yeah,
Such a great
dude.
movie.
The remake was
man.
so
I love
horrible.
that.
The remake was terrible.
The remake was okay. The remake was good. The animation was bad.
Okay, we'll agree with that. But the Pokemon 2000, that was for especially a younger person, because I was 8, 8 at the time. Pokemon 2000 was just such a great movie, and I remember wanting to cry as a kid watching that movie.
So, Pokemon 2000 was the one with Lugia.
I'm the old guy apparently. Now that I know Dizzy's age. Damn.
Yeah.
Why? I always got to be the old guy now.
Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. Pokemon the movie Mewtwo Strikes Back is the original movie.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's the one when they're on the island. Not Pokemon 2000. Yeah. Pokemon 2000 is Lugia.
Yeah, but in any case, I think that because I have played every Pokemon game except for Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon Ultra, those I just didn't care for. Which, to be fair, to give credit where credit is due, and to kind of put myself in a hole, that was the first game series that Pokemon really tried something different with how they played their game. And I tried to play it. I borrowed a copy from a friend, and I stopped playing it not even like 30 minutes in, because when they tried to change things, they went way too heavy in the hand holding. So like every single step, there was a character basically dragging you along, and I was like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. Like I can deal with the first 10 minutes of gameplay being like, hey, come here, let me show you how to do this real quick.
Tutorial.
Okay, you got it. you got it, good, go. I can deal with that. That's fine. But when it's like every single thing for like 30 minutes of gameplay, I'm like, this is gonna be the game. I'm done.
Yeah, and maybe that's targeted toward kids.
Yeah,
they have to have their handheld.
exactly.
That's exactly what it is. That's what I said. They stuck with this target audience. They could have even gone as far as to take that game and say, hey, let's make an easy mode and hard mode. Not even a complex system to add. Just
Or even a tutorial mode.
right. I mean, easy mode games have been around forever. It's not like it's a new system. It's not like it's something that's such a stretch beyond imagination. We could make this same new gen Pokemon and tailor it to young kids and older people alike, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
They see, okay, if we target it towards these kids, they're going to go to their parents and they're going to say, hey, Mom, I want that new pack of Pokemon cards for $19.95.
Yeah.
But
I think as far as who's doing it better right now, I think they're both doing a good job. I think that Pokemon, as we've discussed kind of at length now, is sticking with their target audience of kids. I think that Palworld has brought that up in age for the adults who still like that kind of game. And I think that for adults, Palworld did it better. For kids, Pokemon is still probably number one. But I think that, like I said, they'll start seeing those diminishing returns in the coming years if they don't try to meet the adult gamers in that space.
yeah, and it's not necessarily even just meeting the adult gamers. They don't even have to do that in reality. Bring your game into what gaming has become.
That's true, because there are a lot of kids playing Palworld.
Yeah, bring your Pokemon game into a modern system, a modern style, make it what it should be. They have changed the graphics over the years. Pokemon, the newer games have pretty cool graphics. They're good graphics. But the art style, in my opinion, is still behind. That's where I'm kind of leaning to. I feel that even these new Pokemon games, their art style is behind what it should be. It's 2024. We have fantastic animation. We have fantastic modeling systems. We have UI interfaces with Unreal Engines 5, and you have everything you need to make a top tier Pokemon game already there for you. You just have to catch up to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, everybody, that's our topic.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have one surprise question for you both.
Oh, okay.
That I've been holding on to for a little bit here, and it's just for you guys. If you could see, since you both play Pokemon and Palworld, if you could see an epic fight between one Pokemon versus one pal, what would it be? I mean, we're talking about full cinematics, like action. We'll have J.J. Abrams like direct this or something like that. Like,
I would
what
feel
did you guys see?
that most people would probably answer this with legendaries. They'd say like Jetragon versus, like Lugia or Rayquaza or some big dragon Pokemon like that. I am not going to say that. I would love to see Pikachu versus Grizzbolt with a minigun. Give me that fight. Give me that fight.
Are we talking about Ash's
Ash's
Pikachu, or
Pikachu.
just a random?
Top tier Pikachu.
Oh, that's gonna be a fight. That's gonna be a fight. Hell yeah, I like that.
I think just for the heat that it got and the outrage that people were saying about it, I would like to see the Anubis and Lucario fight, because they have similar fighting styles too. So like they're both hand-to-hand combat style fighters. So it would be like it animated wise, like for anime. That would be a good fight.
That's
like there's some the
It
bare
would be
knuckle
like a
straight up
Dragon Ball Z
Goku
type.
versus Vegeta.
Yeah, this would be like a bare knuckle brawl, and then like all of a sudden, say Anubis is winning and Lucario's on the ropes. He pulls out an aura sphere and shoves it into Anubis's chest, and then Anubis picks up a rock and throws it, and it's like crazy, like it starts hand to hand and then just gets wilder.
That
and
would
wilder. I
be
think
a
it'd be a great fight to
fantastic
watch.
animation to watch. Full on anime style, fast speed, because they both have high movements. So fast speed, just hand to hand throwing it, that would be great too. Yeah.
Love it. Cool. I thought I'd surprise you guys with that question toward the end of the topic.
Oh, I
thought it'd
enjoyed
be
that. I
just
didn't
fun.
expect that at all. So that was kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to catch you guys off guard. I didn't want you guys to, read no show notes. Like, I just wanted absolute raw.
No, that's a good question. And it brings more fun into the topic when we've had this kind of serious overtone the whole time.
Right.
Totally not intentional, by the way, to you guys out there listening. The serious overtone we end up getting into, that was just our thoughts. So
Yeah, it's stuff that's weighed on in the back of our minds for a long time. Especially we're all older, than some of our audience members that I've talked to, at least, especially, and a lot of the people that play some of these games we've been talking about. But it's something I've thought about multiple times over the years. I loved Pokemon so much. Why do I not want to play it now? And I've gone down that rabbit hole of thought process, and it's definitely fun. And a lot of the more serious overtone is because I haven't been picking on Andromeda all day. That's been missing, but we'll get back into the swing of it. I'll start coming up with ways to pick on Ranger before the next episode. I'll have a list. I might even throw some about native in there somewhere, and we'll go from there.
Bro. that fuels me. Like, it fuels me. I like it.
Yeah.
We miss you, Andro. We miss you.
Absolutely. You need to message us. We love you.
So we've got a lot of questions for the show kind of backlogged. Do we want to do just one? I know we're kind of running up on time here.
Yeah, we can do just one.
All right. Native, would you like to do the honors?
Let's see. I didn't even pre-read none of these, so let's see. 1, 2,
you
3,
surprised
4,
us,
5,
so we had
6,
to get you
7. 1 through 7.
And just so you know, being as we just had our episode of clearing out all of our questions, OG noob for life. That's hot death right there.
I can see it. I can see it from his icon. I already know. And he's dominating this channel as well.
Yep.
Well, you know what, Hot Death? You're going to have to, sit on the bench for this one, sir. You're going to have to keep your stick on the ice. We're going to go with somebody else. Let's go with Gilded Rose. There lives a gingerbread man who lives in a gingerbread house. Is the house made of flesh, or is he made of house? He screams right. And he does not know. That's a little tongue twister there. Okay, there's the question, guys. Do you want to reread that? I suck at reading. That's a known fact.
It is a little bit. Right. It is a little bit twisted, but yeah. I love my answer. But am I on the wrong thing? I am. Or is it questions for the host? Lives a gingerbread man who lives in a gingerbread house. Is the house made of flesh, or is he made of house? I would say if a gingerbread man lives in a gingerbread house, I mean, we've established that, gingerbread is a person. It is a gingerbread man. He is made of gingerbread. I actually, you know what? I am going to say the answer that I put on the Discord. That house is crafted with the flesh and the bones of his enemies. He is now the lone gingerbread man. He has conquered all gingerbread men.
I like that.
I do too.
Damn. Well, I'm not going to follow that. Your turn there.
I'm going to say, I'm going to put this in the real world. I think he's made of house. I think he is made of house. He has brief awakened time span between the time that the giants eat his house and then slowly eat his flesh. That's what I'm going to say.
Damn, that's dark. Okay. I'm going to go on a lighter note, but I'm going to agree with you. He's made of house, and his name is Groot, and he lives in a log cabin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he only speak one line? Yes.
He is Groot. I mean, I love him. What can I say? He's one of my favorite superheroes.
That's fair.
I have a Groot Funko Pop of Groot with the little detonator, the bomb from the second movie. I got it. It's pretty cool. little Groot holding the little ball.
You know, I didn't realize that Groot was voiced by Vin Diesel this whole time until like a year ago. My son told me, and he showed me a video of Vin Diesel sitting there and saying, "I am Groot" in like how many different languages, you know,
Yeah.
that the movie was published in. I was like, what? That's Vin Diesel? How much did he get paid to say three words
A lot.
in like multiple languages? That's
It's-
wild.
It's Vin Diesel.
Well-
He got paid a lot.
And it was his idea to learn how to say that in all those different languages.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it right. How many languages was he putting this movie out in? Cool. I'm gonna learn how to say 'I am' in every single one of those languages."
That's awesome.
So
Hell
Groot,
yeah.
Groot is one of the only characters in most movies, modern movies especially, that sounds the exact same in every translation.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Shout out to Dom Toretto. Let's get it.
Yeah. You know, family.
Mm.
We're here. That's what we are now. So,
Family is power.
but
Cowboy, you want to take our astronaut and streamer of the week?
absolutely. So, our astronaut for this week is PB Pipe.
Ayo.
Let's go.
Some of you may know them. They're big on the Palworld podcast server.
Might have to at her to
And
let her know, hey, go listen to this podcast so you can claim your rewards.
oh, absolutely. You should see some of the build stuff she's posted.
Amazing.
It's pretty good. It's up there. I don't build stuff like that, and I'm the same guy that spent 6 months on Minecraft building the Roman Colosseum. So, you know, if I could build that good on Palworld, I would, but I can't. So shout out, you know, PB Pipe. Thank you for joining our server too. We appreciate, you know, your company. Our streamer for the week is our very own newly beloved Mr. Native Raider. You know, he's the inspiration for this podcast. He's been the inspiration for this server. You know, when Andromeda reached out to me about this podcast, we talked so much about Native and, you know, what he does and, you know, just how engaged he is with his own audience and everything he does. And it's amazing how much time and work he puts in. So there is no better shout out than, you know, like I said, our very own inspiration.
Agreed.
Damn. Thank you guys. I feel kind of like rude because I was sitting there like looking at the Blueberry Lounge notes and like trying to update it before we get the show off in 2 hours. And like you just hit me with that, and I was like, "What?" Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You surprise us, we surprise you.
But the streamer of the week, bro. Like I barely stream. I streamed today, but that was it.
Well, you have your podcast. I mean, it's a stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
then you also
thank you
have,
guys.
You also have your YouTube channel that has content
Yeah.
for days. People can just go stroll through that. And
don't look through it because it's old Destiny news that doesn't apply anymore. Everybody, like, because I still get comments.
Definitely go look at it.
I still get comments like nearly like I would say like probably like 3-4 times a week. I'll get comments on a build because I started my YouTube channel with Destiny 2 builds, right, for Titans, and I'll still get comments like, "Is this still relevant?" And this was like 2 years ago. I was like, "No, bro, I'm sorry.
Not even close."
The game has changed so much. They nerfed the hell out of that. Like, I'm sorry. I really wish
it was irrelevant after the video released.
For real. The way Destiny is, man. The way Bungie, like, we'll sit there and switch stuff. But thank you guys. I appreciate that. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the last thing, you know, we want to talk about, we're still out there on Spotify uploading every Monday. Spotify gave me some troubles last week, but we still got it out on Monday. It took me like 4 hours to put the episode actually on Spotify. But we got it out there. We got another episode dropping every Monday. You will hear this episode in a few weeks from now, which by the time you're hearing us will be a few weeks from when we recorded it. But YouTube, iHeartRadio, we are no longer on Google Music because they stopped their podcasts. Boo. I don't know why they did that. Yeah. But, yeah, come check us out. Check out Mr. Native Raider, the Palworld Podcast. Come join our Discord if you're listening. The Discord link is always in the description for the podcast. I put it there every single week. I put a brand new link every single week so you don't have to have any trouble getting in. And then come talk to us. Come tell us what you think of the episodes. Come tell us, about what you want to see, what you want to hear. If you want to come on and talk to us, do it. We encourage it. We love talking about games. We love talking about everything. We love talking to each and every one of you and getting out there. We got a good Discord server set up. We got a nice, happy family here. We are active talking to people all the time. So come chat with us. Come show us some love. Go show them some love. And that's pretty much it for today, y'all.
Cowboy, outside of this podcast, where can people find you? What else you got going on?
Right now, Cowboy has very little going on. Because, like I said, I work 11 hours a day, and then I got school and my baby. But if any of the listeners are ever interested in playing D&D, you can always find me on Discord. I don't personally stream anymore, but you can always find me on Discord, Cowboy Dizzy. I've always been Cowboy Dizzy. Since the original Xbox came out, I've had the exact same username.
OG.
For over 20 years, I've had the exact same username. And so you can find me on here. Just hit me up. We got a gaming community. We have our D&D community where we have in-house DMs. We have in-house sessions every single week. So if that's something you're interested in, come let me know.
I would be one of those for sure. I want to check it out.
Well, Mr. N8iV R8R, what about you? Where can everybody find you? What are all of your spaces?
Not many. Twitter, YouTube, and of course Twitch, and that's N8iV Raider, N8iV R8R. You can find me here in the Astronaut Arcade Discord, as well as the Palworld Podcast Discord, and of course the Blueberry Lounge Discord.
All right. And you guys can find me right here in the Astronaut Arcade Podcast, the Astronaut Arcade Podcast Discord. And I don't know if Cowboy knows this or not, but you guys can also find me co-hosting on the Palworld Podcast and in the Palworld Podcast Discord.
I saw it.
Okay.
Kudos.
Thank you. And then I am trying to get back into streaming. Slow going, not a whole lot of playtime, but you guys can find me on Twitch. ARALUEN Ranger01. I'm gonna try to start getting some more content out there for you guys.
Hell yeah. I can't wait, man.
Thank you to all of our listeners for showing up. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you guys are in our Discord, please go ahead and put it in general, but shout some love out to our beloved Andro. She's got some life going on. She could use all the support. And yeah, we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Astronaut Arcade Podcast, where we take one small step for man and a giant leap for gamerkind. We'll see y'all later.
And don't forget Pluto's a planet.